I'm Emily, mom life, homemade sourdough, and everyday adventures. Come on in. All right, so we were on vacation and now I got back and it's time to bake some more bread. So let me kind of walk you through my setup and what I do when I have taken my starter out of the fridge. So it's actually now bubbly and ready to go. It's ready for me to feed it again so I can bake. I also took out of the fridge my discard jar. And then I also have a clean jar here. So I'm freshly baking again, so I'm going to need my scale, my kettle for my filtered water, and then my flour. Let's go. All right, so I'm gonna take my clean jar here and put it on my scale. I'll hit tare because I want it to be 0 and I want to know exactly how many grams are going into this jar. Now, once it gets to 0 and it shows grams, my starter here is, I would say it's pretty hydrated because it's not like thick cake or thick like batter. It is a little runnier. So I'm going to do a higher amount of flour than water, and you'll just get to know over time, what is hydrated, what looks more hydrated than not. A lot of it has to do with humidity, where you live. There's a lot of things that come into play, but you will get better at it after time. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do 60. Hold, please. All right, now I've put filtered water into my kettle and I've heated it to 100 degrees. I'll hit tare again on my scale. I want it to 0 out. So I put 60 grams of starter in there. It's 0. I am going to do, because I know I need 250 grams of starter or 11 for my next recipe. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and do double that. So I'm going to do 120-ish. Oh, we'll do 130. Okay. All right, there we go. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to stir it real well. This is really important to stir your water with your starter before you add the flour. Otherwise, it just doesn't work really well. All right, so I've stirred it all together. Now I'm going to always use unbleached flour. All right, so now I've got my scale, I've mixed in my water and my starter together. I'm going to 0 it out again. And I love these. I'll show you what spoons I use. But I'm going to do about 100 and probably 50 grams of flour. And it should be really cake battery at that point. We're at 133, just need a little bit more. Perfect. All right, now I'm gonna mix it all together. All right, now that I've mixed everything together, it's really thick in there. And I'm gonna scrape it down from the sides, get everything in there that I can. I'm going to put on my cover here and then steal my rubber band from my old jar. You could use a dry erase marker if you wanted to, but I just mark this where I started, where my starter kind of started. And now I'm just gonna put this over in the counter, and it will of course vary based on where you live and how humid and hot it is outside, but in a few hours this will be ready to bake. So you showed us this discard jar in the beginning, and there's plenty of starter left in here. Now, I use discard for a variety of things. There's discard recipes that you can make. I've done some shorts on those. I'll do some longer videos as well on some of my favorite discard recipes, but I keep this. So, and I also add it to a variety of things. If I made homemade noodles, I'll add some sourdough discard to that just for some extra gut health. So I will go ahead and add the rest of my leftover starter that I had in the fridge to my discard jar. And one thing with this is you want as little starter to go down the drain as possible. Not because you know, of course you don't want to be wasteful, but also this will build up in your drain over time and clog it and cause serious plumbing issues because it's like kind of hardens just like cement. So you want to scratch off as much in your discard jar. And then I typically also scratch off more and I just put it in the trash. Now, this is my hint that I need to make some discard recipes because my discard jar is very full. All right, now there's a few things I used in this video that are going to be really helpful on your sourdough journey. Whether you are reviving your starter from the fridge on vacation or you're just starting out. First thing is a scale. It is so important to precisely measure things using grams. So I highly recommend to get one of these. In my point of view, the expensive ones and the inexpensive ones, they break the same. They don't have an exceptionally long life. So I'd go cheap on this one. I've linked one in the description. A kettle. I love this kettle. We use it for our pour over coffee. We also I use it for sourdough baking. You have to make sure that you get your filtered water to a precise temperature. And this just eliminates the error. So I'll link this kettle in the description as well. And of course the jars that I use. When I first started, I did get a jar starter kit. It came with a jar, a way to show, you know, to track your starter on if it's rising, a little temperature strip on the side to show the temperature of your starter, a jar, of course, a lid. It was great and it really helped me start with my sourdough journey. But I go through a lot of jars just because you can see I use 3 in this video alone. I use the ball wide mouth jars and they work perfect. So I'd recommend the ball wide mouth jars, even if you do get the starter kit. And I will also link a good starter kit in the description as well. So I hope this was beneficial and in the whole process of reviving your starter from the fridge, feeding it, discarding it, and now we just wait until it's ready to bake.